What up, what up, what up? Back at it again. We went in form like Voltron. We got the boys back in the building. I'm your host, Gabe. That's JoJo. That's Julian. This is episode 38. We've been gone, but we're back here. What up, fellas? What's going on?
What's good?
What up, yeah?
Yo, I mean, listen.
We haven't recorded in a while.
No, man, it's been a minute.
Well, we did record last week, or no, 2 weeks ago, but Gabe's internet situation was so bad. I went back and listened to it. It was unplayable for you guys. So I was like, fuck it, I'm scrapping it. We'll do this again later. It was.
It might be time to upgrade that Wi-Fi. I don't know, man.
Nah, here's what happened. Julian had such terrible takes, such terrible sports takes, terrible knowledge, didn't know nothing about nothing, that he just said, you know, executive producer privileges, we're not going to put this out because I'm just so terrible. That's why.
The entire episode, right? That's probably what happened. That's why we didn't publish it.
Yeah. Anyways, the reason why we came back this weekend was freaking crazy, nuts. NFL playoffs going on this weekend. 4 huge games.
Playoffs. A lot of playoff talk. A lot going on.
So, I mean, I think we got to talk about the first game of the week. We had the Bengals versus the Titans. And I just want to get your thoughts from the games, Julian, of like what you saw and what you thought of the Bengals in Tennessee.
All I got to say is I'm glad that the Titans lost. They need to loosen up instead of tighten up. They need to loosen up.
Coming from a Packers fan, of course, you know, as expected.
But, yeah, I mean, Bengals did what they needed to do. They kind of shut down Derrick Henry, which, you know, you hold them off as much as you can. And it was a cold, bitter, just really nasty night over in Tennessee. But they held their own. I don't know how the Nashville pulled off 9 sacks, I think, on Joe Burrow. 9 or 8 sacks. Insane performance by the defense. But the offense and Tannehill, they just couldn't really really put it together. And then the Bengals, they weren't really able to either. But towards the end, they were able to get down the field and kick the field goal to win it all. This was probably the least exciting out of all. Well, no, I take that back. That Green Bay and San Francisco game was hard to watch.
Listen, man. Every single playoff game this weekend ended with a walk-off.
And a walk-off, but doesn't mean the game was entertaining.
It was exciting, bro. I mean, we don't know who was going to win it till the time ran out. Every single game came down to that last possession. But kudos to the Titans. I know they lost. Shout out to Joey Burrow. Derrick Henry in the return. He had the first touchdown for the Titans. And I don't know if it's a rumor. His foot's still injured. He's playing with a metal plate in his foot.
Oh, yeah, he was playing with literally a metal foot.
Yeah, that's insane, bro. Kudos to him coming out playing in that cold weather. It's got to be brutal. You'll feel the arthritis pick it up in your leg. You're getting hit. But wow, they won with 9 sacks against, you know, Joe Burrow, and he's back. Imagine if he actually had an O-line. Imagine. Remember last year? That's why he got injured, right? He had no O-line. Guess they improved a little this year. Well, shout out to him and Jamar Chase. You know, that's been a huge success for them. But wait till he gets a real O-line.
Yeah, and he played well too against the Titans. Just not as many touchdowns and not super productive, but I mean, it's just kind of the way the night was. But he still played really well. And obviously he played well the week prior that we didn't get a chance to talk about in the wild card game. But man, that team's good. Like I said, you're right though. I mean, you can't give up 9 sacks. Like you're asking for trouble. But you know, they were able to gather together, and you know, people were getting at the Bengals for taking Jamar Chase, and not getting Penei Sewell in the draft and not getting O-lineman. But you know, who's making more of an impact right now? Jamar Chase. And sometimes it's very hard to find that receiver. You can always kind of find a filler lineman to come in and just do the job, but it's not very many people on the planet who do what Jamar Chase can do. And it's turning out to be it's going to be it. I mean, I would have never guessed the Bengals would be in this situation coming in the season. I didn't even have them making the playoffs, let alone be a top team, win the division, and going to the AFC Championship. And I don't know if you remember, I think a couple episodes ago, we said if they were to make the playoffs, they deserve it because they had a gauntlet. I forgot what teams they were playing the last 5 to 6 weeks of the year, but I mean, they had a gauntlet, and they went through, and now they're in the AFC Championship. Their first playoff win in like, what was it, 30 years or something like that? It's wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So just to go speak to what you just pointed out, they played versus San Francisco at home. They lost in overtime. They played at Denver. They played versus Baltimore, Kansas City, and they played at Cleveland. So they had a pretty tough schedule those last few games. And I think they lost 2 of those games. They went 3-2. But I think this game for going back to this game was really a defensive game. Like, if you saw the beginning of that, fucking Ryan Tannehill comes out the gate, throws an interception, completely shit the bed. There was fucking diarrhea all over that goddamn arena, and it was caused by Ryan Tannehill.
That's your boy.
And I mean, shout out to the Bengals. Like, you took away their weapon. Derrick Henry coming back, you took away their weapon. Like, so now they have to do something else and have another option. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm the fucking Bengals expert. This was the first time I really got to see the Bengals defense, but that front line, man, they were putting pressure on both sides. By the way, both sides of the Titans and the Bengals were putting pressure. But I mean, you kind of saw fucking the wheels spinning with Ryan Tannehill, and the offense wasn't doing nothing. I think I saw some stat like the first quarter he threw like 2 for 7 for like 12 yards or something ridiculous. They show all the spots that he was missing. The only couple of receptions they got were like within 5 yards, 4 yards, some crazy, some stupid. And yeah, man, I guess
they weren't a strong.
I don't know what that says
team.
for Ryan Tannehill, because I've seen Ryan Tannehill be good. I've seen Ryan Tannehill do bad, and he just had a terrible game. Absolutely shit the bed. And that's what happens, man. These teams come to prepared to play in the playoffs. You take away their best weapon, Derrick Henry, which is a fucking scary thought to think somebody's gonna have to tackle that guy. And you kept him within 60 yards, 70 yards, 1 touchdown, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, shout out to the Bengals. Bengals, exciting team. Julian said earlier this year, I didn't expect the Bengals to go this far because everybody expected the Browns to get better. They expected Ravens to still be good. And speaking to the draft, like about Jamar Chase, it's like, yo, I mean, you just gotta at some point in the draft, like, I know this earlier, they had the first pick or whatever, but you pick the best players and you just hope that they perform. And Jamar Chase has had an excellent year this year. Should be Rookie of the Year. Should be probably fucking in the running for MVP of the year. I don't think he's gonna get it, but his name should be thrown in that. And the Bengals, what? For the next couple of years, I'm going to expect them to be now. They've gotten this far, and
with not an amazing squad
going to the playoffs every year.
Yeah, so it's not like they have an amazing squad either. They just
I think you're on mute. Check your mute. Am I on mute?
No. I mean, everybody can hear me now. But all right. Anyway, what I was saying though was that, I mean, they're not even like an amazing team either. It's not like they have a super stout defense or like they win in the trenches. It's just they got good playmakers, and it's the way the league's turning to nowadays, where it's like if you can score touchdowns, you can be pretty good in this league. So, like I said, if they could just bolster up some certain positions, some key positions, they're going to be really dangerous. And just to think, 2 years ago they had the number 1 overall pick with only 1 win, and now 2 years later they're in the championship, it's just wild to me. Shit, like, it makes me hope the fucking Jags are like that.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be you guys are gonna get another number 1 pick, and I wonder if you can turn it around.
Yeah, so and also a tough division too. I mean, everybody in the division was fighting for a spot in the playoffs.
Real quick, so you got your quarterback, you got your guy, right? Bengals got their guy, right? They got Joe Burrow. All right, he unfortunately got injured last season. This year they got the wide receiver. Next season in the next draft, do you think that would be the best option for Jags? You guys need a receiver?
There's no wide receiver worth taking number 1. A wide receiver is almost never worth taking number 1. It's just not as an important as a position.
Another quarterback at QB1?
No, there's not really any quarterback like super high this year. Right now, everybody's looking at the pass rusher from Oregon and the pass rusher from Michigan. Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, and the offensive lineman from Alabama, Evan Neal. Those are like the top 3 right now. and that could go anywhere. My personal pick is the guy from Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson. That guy's been a beast. And even though the Jags desperately need a receiver, there's not one worth taking number one overall. There never really is. I don't think there's ever been a wide receiver taking number one overall. It's just not as an important a position as a pass rusher. Right. Pass rusher, quarterback, O-lineman. Those are like your orders.
That's fair. All right, man. Yo, kudos to the Bengals. But, oh, my God. Down goes Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, that game was crazy, too.
Tampa Brady. Tampa Brady. Oh, yeah. That game was – I thought it was over, but I was like, nah, man. I can't count out Tom Brady.
How scripted this is. I was watching that game sitting there. Tom Brady down big. And I'm like, he has the whole fourth quarter. He has the whole fourth quarter to catch up. And look at what they did. He caught up. I forgot the time, but they scored. They somehow got the ball back. Tom Brady fumbles it. Then the Rams fumble right after they get it back. Tom Brady scores. I was just like, dude, there's no way.
The Rams almost costed themselves big time. Like I couldn't. They had every opportunity to put away the game. Every opportunity. And they couldn't. But for whatever reason, they just couldn't put it away until the very end. And like, I mean, ever since that Falcons game in the Super Bowl, I was like, man, I don't know. Like, then again, it's like 3 touchdowns to Brady is not that big of a deal. Like, he could do it. And then with the turnovers and Cam Akers fumbling twice, it was just like, fuck. And then Jalen Ramsey gets burnt by Mike Evans. I was like, holy shit, is this happening? Is this really about to happen? They tie up the game, and then Matt Stafford throws a fucking dime to Cooper Kupp 40 yards down the field, puts him in field goal range, and they just close it out from there. I would love to see going into overtime, but man, Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, they just like that connection has been so good throughout the entire season, and then just for it to end like that and then kick the easy field goal, it was – I'm glad to see Matt Stafford finally win. And that man's dealt with so much shit for so long. I'm glad to see him win his first playoff game against the Cardinals, and now he's going into Tampa and beating them. And now they're about to have a home game. And if they win this game against the Niners, this is going to be the back-to-back years where the Super Bowl is being hosted by one of the teams in the Super Bowl.
That's
if the Rams win. But I don't know if they're going to, because the Niners just have such a good defense. But yeah, that game was insane. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was so shocked. Like, Scotty Miller with huge plays. Everybody was just making plays after play after play. Gabe, what do you think of that game?
Well, I mean, the game was pretty. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. I always heard you.
Okay. There was that point in the game where it was like, I think it was 27-13, and we're like, to me, I was like, it's a wrap. Like, because they're going down. If the Rams keep going down, and they score again, it's going to be down 3 possessions.
How could you?
And there's no way that you can come back. But then, Tampa Bay started getting breaks. They had that Cam Akers fumbled. They get a turnover. They score. I think he fumbles again. And they kept getting turnovers and it kept creeping. It's kind of like that. It reminded me of what was that game? Was it the Steelers? No, it wasn't the Steelers game. What was the one where they tied? They both went. It was the Raiders. Raiders.
It's the Steelers tie, right?
Yeah. Well, that's how the Steelers got in, because the whatever. But you started seeing all these things happening, and like, okay, maybe it's possible. Which made it a super exciting game. Like, it was super like butt puckering. Like, what I mean? It was like one of the best games of the year.
When Ramsey got burnt on that route for the touchdown, I'm telling you, everyone looked at each other like, "Oh, it's happening."
Yeah.
I love to see Ramsey get burned. I love to see it.
I called the fumble, and they got the fumble, and I was shocked. I was like, "There's no way." Who wrote this down? Somebody scripted this game, because it's insane the amount of chances they give Brady. I'm like, all he needs is he had the ball with 1:30 left or something like that, or 2 minutes. I'm like, that's way too much time.
Yeah, they scored a little too quick. That was their biggest problem, is that they scored a little too quick, and then it gave the Rams time to throw a bomb. But like, honestly, that was just busted coverage. I mean, the whole like weekend was just filled with like defenses who couldn't close for whatever, like couldn't close them when it came to the final drive. Every single defense imploded on themselves. And it's just like all they needed to do was just hold up, and they couldn't. And but man, what an amazing game. I'm glad it turned around because it was rough to watch, like the first like 2.5 quarters, and then it ended up becoming probably one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Like that game was this whole weekend was probably the greatest playoff, like all the two games that we're both thinking of. Those two games were some of the best games I've ever watched. It was insane. 100%. I couldn't believe it. But I'm curious to see if Tom Brady comes back. I am really curious. We'll see if he does. I think he will.
That's I already know, man. This guy's gonna be. He's gonna keep injecting himself with stem cells from an abominable snowman from whatever Mount Fiji. He's gonna keep keep playing until he's literally a robot. Until he has
all the avocado ice cream.
Have you seen Cyberpunk? That's gonna be Tom Brady. Yeah. He's playing with a robotic arm. Him and Keanu Reeves.
Bro, I think he's going to 50. I'm telling you, he's gonna play to 50. I feel it. He's gonna do it.
He's not slowing down. He's not no Ben Roethlisberger.
He was an MVP candidate. I think he's like in second place. Like he was in second. It wasn't like he's just playing. Like he's playing well. Like he's playing top of the league. Like it's wild.
And I think what he had in this game, didn't he have some lime? The lime, was it the lime?
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs was out, which was huge. Like the amount of pressure they were able to put on Brady that entire game was scary, because it was like, man, he couldn't catch a break. He couldn't have any time to get open. And they had to put Gronk on the line to help protect, but then you put him on one side, and then the other tackle couldn't hold his own, and it was just, man, they were just getting beat up on that O line.
Yeah, Aaron Donald
probably ended up costing him. Von Miller with the strip sack. Von Miller with the strip sack. They were having a fucking game.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it exciting. I mean, that's what you want to kind of see in these playoffs. So I posed a question: did we already watch the championship already? Was that the championship game? Do you feel like?
No.
Do you feel like it's going to get better?
I think another game was the Super Bowl.
Not that game.
And I think the game that we should go to next, that I think would be the Super Bowl, was the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Game of the year, hands down. Game of the year,
dude. I saw a stat over on. It was like they put on Twitter over the last 30, over the past year, all 365 days. The total score line. They played 3 games. Their total score line is Chiefs 100, Bills 98. Wow. Over the past 3 games in the past 365 days. It was, when you think the game was over, it's somehow Josh Allen throws fucking darts. And who the fuck was this guy who came out of nowhere with 200 yards and like 4 touchdowns? Gabriel Davis. Yeah, man, what a fucking night for that guy. I'm happy for that guy. Oh shit. I'm happy for that guy. Man, what a fucking day. I couldn't believe that he was able to do that. And then just, man, the absolute darts that Josh Allen was throwing was just unprecedented. Don't get me wrong, Patrick Mahomes had a great night, but holy shit, Josh Allen looked unreal that game.
Bro, here's my take on this game. Again, amazing game. I agree with everything Josh Allen. I'm actually very upset that Josh Allen couldn't find a way to get over the hump, man. Like, this was his year. I feel like this was his time to prove it, to show it.
It wasn't even his fault.
Hey, man, to whoever's fault it was, he had to get the win against Patrick Mahomes, that's going to be his rival, man. In the next years, we got this new generation of quarterbacks. You're going to
drafted the same class.
You're going to see those two faces in the playoffs a lot. You're going to see them face each other nonstop. And I feel like we expected Josh Allen to have a big year. We were talking for last year, and in which he did, right? The Bills, did their thing. They got to the playoffs to versus Patrick Mahomes. But it's like, oh my God, we forgot how good Patrick Mahomes really is, right? Everyone was shitting on the Chiefs early on because they lost back to back, this and that. And that was the first time we've really seen them lose. We're so used to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs being perfect. And guess what? They're winning right now when it mattered, but I'm just upset that Josh couldn't get that big win to take him to the next level. Because guess what? Patrick Mahomes, who knows? He could be in another Super Bowl. They're moving forward, man.
Yeah. I don't blame Josh Allen, though, man. How the fuck you have the number one defense, or no, was the number one defense in the league, and you can't hold them down for 13 seconds. And then you go to overtime, and then they score on the first drive.
Or how great Patrick Mahomes is, because dude, that reminded me of primetime Brady. Like it was crunch time.
It was. But go back and watch that. Go back and watch that tape. That was terrible coverage. Terrible coverage. Like anybody could have got that. Like, don't get me wrong. No, I won't take anything from Patrick Mahomes. But you saw how busted that coverage was. Like, there's no excuse for why they should have ran down the field in 13 seconds, and then, which is now leading to this whole like debate on like the internet about if the overtime rule should change because Josh Allen didn't get a chance to bounce back. But I mean, in my opinion, with the overtime stuff, real quick, it's like at the end of the day, there's two sides of football. There's offense and there's defense. Well, there's three sides: offense, defense, and special teams. And defense is a part of it. And it's a team sport at the end of the day. And if your team can't stop the other team from scoring a touchdown, then you shouldn't win in overtime. I get that maybe Josh Allen should get another chance, but it's also the defense's job to stop the ball. And they couldn't. And it was, especially after their team led them to like a position to where they even got to overtime, is insane. And the least you could do is fucking stop them for 13 seconds.
And I agree because, you know, if that happened in the Bills' favor, you know, those fans wouldn't be complaining if they got the win at all. If Josh took them down the field, and you know the rules going in, so you're prepared for that, right? Honestly, the game shouldn't even go to overtime. Just seal the deal and get the win. But you let it happen, and you know, and your fingers are decided on the flip of a coin, and you didn't get the ball.
Do you think the winner of this? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you think the winner of this is the Super Bowl champ?
No, but I think the Chiefs are gonna go again. They're 100%. They have the same strong team as last year, and they don't have a reason not to make it.
Gabe, what do you think?
I think they'll get back. This was a rematch last year of the AFC Divisional from last year. Are they as good as they were when they won? I don't think they're as good as they were when they won. You know, you already talked about earlier the regular season. They were pretty terrible. They were pretty porous on defense. It just, you know, they happened to win at the right time. They're playing hot now.
They turned around, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe with some time and preparation, you get some guys rest and, you know, health. Maybe they can try to look like they did when they won the championship. But I don't think they're the same team as they were. But that doesn't take away from Patrick Mahomes. I think he's still one of the best in the game right now. So I mean, from this game, it's just it does kind of suck that it ended up on a coin flip, like you said, JoJo. It's like win the game, man, then just score. You know what I mean? Like
stop them,
win in regulation. So
or stop them, fucking stop them. Yeah.
So, honestly, if the defense stopped them in four plays, that's it. You get the ball back, man. Or 3 and out. It's like you just didn't get it done.
Hold them to a field goal. Hold them to we're not even asking you to stop them from like scoring in general, like the old overtime rules, which I thought were bad.
You had to stop him in one drive. You know what I mean? Like you just haven't scored in the third.
So shout out to the Bills. I think they're going to be a menace. They're going to be a menace for the Dolphins. The Dolphins ain't going to do shit. We'll get to the Dolphins later, but let's talk about the other game, the last game of the week that happened. There's probably the lesser of the games, maybe, possibly. San Francisco at Green Bay.
Oh,
it was a cold one.
I'm getting cold just thinking about it.
Pretty windy out there. I thought this game was kind of a slog. You know, you didn't see. I think everybody. When I think of the San Francisco 49ers, I think of them as a run-first team. I kind of think of them like the Titans, a run-first team, and that's exactly what they do. They run first, and then they figure out passing later. You know what I mean? They base their passing.
Beast, bro.
Yeah, and Debo's really good. What an exciting player. I'm glad that he's actually healthy now. I think his first couple of years he had like injuries to his legs, or whatever. But now he's actually healthy, and he's a really exciting player. He's really fun to watch how they use him both in passing, and he's a good blocker. Like he's a good blocking wide receiver. Have you seen some?
He's a great athlete.
Packages? Yeah, he's a great running blocking wide receiver as well. But you saw him using him in packages. They do the quick, not RPO, but they run like kind of like a full house where they have like two running backs, one running back to fullback, a tight end, or whatever, or two tight ends, and they kind of run their plays off of that. and they were effective. They couldn't be stopped. And then on the other hand, you see Aaron Rodgers, relying on his best target, his best weapon, which is Devontae Adams. So this game was kind of slower to watch. I thought it was a little bit better than the Titans game, I think. But it was
towards the end it got exciting. Yeah. Like that play by Debo to get that, what was it, the 3rd and 7 to convert that first down. That was down. Yeah. That was huge. That was so huge. And it wasn't just like an easy run. I mean, he powered his fucking, like Debo's a legit running back. He's not just like a guy you just throw in there every once in a while. Like I wouldn't be perfectly okay. Like obviously you want him out wide at most of the time, but I'd be perfectly okay having him as like him being your primary running back because he's just that good of a natural runner and just breaking tackles and stuff. He's just that good. And yeah, that play at the end was just amazing. Aaron Jones had a pretty good day too. I mean, I think he had over 100 yards receiving and 40 yards rushing. He had a good day, but I don't think he got into the end zone. Who was their sole touchdown?
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon, yeah. But yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers had the greatest of days. I like granted his O-line was just getting absolutely pummeled by the San Francisco's D-line, but it's all about showing up when it matters the most and coming up at the end. I thought Green Bay was going to turn it up. Like I was expecting Green Bay to win this game the entire time, all the way up until the final. I was expecting. All the way until the 49ers scored and tied it up. I was expecting Green Bay just out of nowhere, the offense just finally click and turn it up, but they couldn't get it done. Man, I tell you what, Green Bay's been struggling on that O-line with all their backups and starters being hurt, and it ended up costing him, and it makes you wonder what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers coming in this offseason. That's definitely going to be a huge talking point of what's going to happen because he's pretty much locked in as the MVP for this year, back-to-back MVP. So I'm really curious to see what the future holds for him. But, man, that was a cold game, though. I think it was -1 or something. I couldn't even imagine playing that shit. Like, that's and imagine kicking, like Robbie Gould getting the win. Like, that football is like a fucking rock when it's that cold outside. And they say that it's hard. It doesn't float. It doesn't have any give to it. It just that shit rocks. But
I'm a little disappointed in that Aaron Rodgers lost, to be honest. I've rooting for him all season. Which he had a great season. I called it in the beginning. If he wins MVP, which I thought I predicted he would early on because he has everything to prove, man. And it sucks, man. He's had such bad luck in playoffs. Like, can't get past the second round for years.
I think he's only passed it. He's only made the Super Bowl once, the year that he won it.
The only time that he made it was when they won. And he's never made it back. He just had bad luck in the playoffs. They have great regular seasons, always a playoff team, but man, I don't know what it is, but he's supposed to be that guy. And I'm not putting the blame on him. Again, I was rooting for him. But it's been a while since you've seen an elite quarterback with so much regular season success and just can't find his way back to another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They had going on with that Aaron Rodgers he's been in the NFC for 8 years, 7 years, something like that. And
he was drafted in 2006, I think.
Yeah. Tom Brady has more NFC wins in the 2 years that Tom Brady's been with the Bucs than
really.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Some crazy things that he has more wins, more NFC. His record in the NFC is better than Aaron Rodgers in the 2 years that he's been with Tampa.
Rodgers has to have more than 3 NFC wins.
No.
Well, I don't know, man.
Rodgers has
I don't know.
Wait, are they going obviously since the Super Bowl, right?
I think it's this NFC records. Aaron Rodgers versus NFC and Tom Brady versus NFC.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. I don't know if I trust that stat.
I don't know about the playoffs. I think it's just regular NFC versus NFC. Let me get into shit because I don't have the exact statistics. So,
yeah, I don't know if I buy that, but
can we talk about the slander that went on afterwards? Because if you are anybody like me, you're always on Twitter, you're roaming around, and there's only one reason why you go on Twitter, and
to see people argue.
Okay, better than the game is not argue. Better than the game is the roasting that happens on Twitter. All the jokes fly. They were calling this man. What did I hear? They called this man Heave Bannon. They called them Breitbart Star. They called him Rush Lambo instead of Rush Lambo. They were flying with the jokes. Yeah, Jojo, you said you were rooting for him. I do like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's good at football. I was rooting against him, man. I did not want to see him win. And this is kind of like I don't know. I don't know if it's like justice. It's just kind of like I don't actually think that Green Bay is actually while they had a good season. I don't think they're one of the best like Super Bowl worthy. I think they're better teams than Green Bay. And I think leading to what you were saying, Julian, I think this is leading to him. He's probably going to leave. And there are already rumors that he could go back to San Francisco because I think he's from California. I think he still
he's
has
from
a house
San
there.
Francisco. He's not going to San Francisco though. I mean, I know he did drafted, like what's his name?
Who? Oh, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Yeah.
No. So I don't think he's staying. For me personally, I don't think he's staying in Green Bay. Like I think he's seen him max out at Green Bay, and like, what are they going to do to entice? Like, what youth or what are they giving to help him out? Like
nothing. They've never given him anything. They've never given him anything. All his weapons just lucked out.
Broncos need a quarterback.
Yeah, my bet is Broncos or Pittsburgh. Broncos or Pittsburgh. You imagine him in Pittsburgh? Oof. It's one of those two, I think. Broncos, Pittsburgh. I'll put because we never talked about this because we didn't have a show. Broncos, Pittsburgh, and Indy. Because Carson Wentz is a fucking bum, and he's done. I don't know if you guys saw what happened week 18 when they absolutely fucking choked against the Jags. But holy shit, yeah, Carson Wentz is done. He's done. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go there. But I think the Broncos are looking like they want him for sure.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if it come down to.
We know how to handle our vets, bro. We recruited Peyton Manning. He came in, showed his leadership, won us a ring.
It's a good team.
One of the worst Super Bowls is that Peyton Manning Broncos Super Bowl. Oh my God, it's terrible.
By the way, too, I do want to say I was rooting for Aaron Rodgers because I am an Aaron Rodgers fan. I like seeing him do well, and I want to have him get another one. Plus, I don't want to see fucking Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl. I don't. That dude's fucking trash.
I was waiting for Julian to bring him up, and like the whole time, this man does not deserve to go to the Super Bowl. I'm here doing like, no, you're gonna coach this man. This guy can't throw. This guy can't throw past 10 yards.
You know what? I will give credit where credit is due. He played well throughout the season. Obviously, he is not a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's not, but he got the job done that needed to be done to put them in a position where they are now. He's a better option currently than Trey Lance is. And there was moments throughout the season where he looked pretty solid. But yeah, the dude can't throw past fucking 15 yards to save his life. And granted, he's had the messed up thumb this offseason. But like I said, I'll give credit where credit's due. He didn't play that well this week, but there's been moments throughout the season where he's done pretty well, and they wouldn't have played that well if Trey Lance was there for sure. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's seasoned now. He's a seasoned vet. He's been there. He's done that. But everybody knows he's not the long-term answer. He's just there to.
Aaron Rodgers might end up in San Francisco, but
if they didn't draft Lance, I would say that. If they didn't draft him, but the fact that
they always trade him away. Or actually, no, he's a free agent now, so they don't have to trade him away.
Lance?
They can move. They can make some moves and move.
Actually, yeah, but they gave up so much to the Dolphins just to fucking get up there and get him.
We just beat on their team the following year. Why would you do that?
I'm just saying, man. Aaron Rodgers is a better option than Jimmy G. So, I mean, if you want to teach the young man how to play football, why don't you get him? Whatever. I'm not going to take any jokes.
I don't think Green Bay is going to give him the money anyways, because Green Bay, I think they really want to see what Love's got. I think they want to see what Love can do. And so far, from the little playtime he's gotten, he hasn't looked terrible. So we will see.
We shall see. Speaking of, quarterbacks moving around because, It's a lot of talk, Russell not Russell Westbrook, Russell Wilson,
That's another guy.
Aaron Rodgers, a lot of talk that they make some moves. Some quarterback might show up in Miami. We didn't get a chance to talk last week.
No, man, where's Watson gonna end up? Who knows, bro? With so much.
That dude's done.
So many QBs on the move.
We didn't get a chance to talk last week about the firing of Brian Flores, which was came as a huge shock. I think a huge shock to the NFL. I think in general, even like non-Dolphins.
I was surprised. I was shocked.
So what were your thoughts on Brian Flores leaving, Julian?
What are my thoughts? What are your thoughts?
What I thought.
I'm actually curious because let me lay this out for you because I don't know how much I'm assuming, Gabe, you know everything of the potential reasons of why he got the boot, but because I know you're a Tua guy, but you're a Flores guy, and apparently what kind of led to his firing was that the GM and the front office were all for Tua. And reality, Flores was the one that wanted Watson all this time, but I know you're a Watson fan. So which kind of side are you on? Are you glad that they got rid of Flores to commit to Tua? Or are you glad that Flores you want Tua gone and they should have kept Flores?
Don't you put that Watson on me, Ricky Bobby. A complete shock to me. This was nothing that I saw going forward. Obviously, the Dolphins started at the beginning of the season. They went 0-7, and then they went on a 7-0 run. Some crazy like that. Went 7-1, or
they're like
whatever.
7. They're like 1-7, and then
complete shot because I think most of the general consensus among Dolphins fans is Brian Flores wasn't the problem. He wasn't the reason why they were losing. In fact, he was probably the reason why they won so many damn games. Because if anything, especially last season, the defense kept the Dolphins in a lot of games, and the reason why we had a 11 win game last year and why we were pretty good this year is because of the defense. And he's a defensive guy, obviously from New England. So complete shock when he got fired. And then obviously there's a campaign. You get bad press, and they're coming. Oh, he doesn't talk to people, or he's not very nice, or he never sent me flowers on Valentine's Day, or so whatever the fuck they want to say. That's all good and well, but the man won. Now, I'm not saying that those things could be lies. They could be absolutely true. But when we look at this team, Flores, on the list of the problems with the Dolphins, Flores was not in the top 5. So complete shock. Then you hear rumors come around that Stephen Ross is a huge Michigan guy. I think he's a Michigan alum. And that he donates a lot of money to the school of Michigan. And who's in Michigan right now is freaking the other Harbaugh, not the
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Complete shock. I think Flores will find a job. He's not going to be jobless. He will find a job somewhere. I think he's a good head coach. The fact that the Deshaun Watson stuff came out that he pushed it, that I do not like, because I think that would have been terrible. The fact that because a lot of people were saying that Stephen Ross was becoming impatient and wanted to push for Deshaun Watson, and around that deadline, I think there were phone calls made to see what was going on with that situation. So a lot of that got put on Stephen Ross, but if the rumors are true or what they're saying is true, that Flores was pushing for it, that shit I don't like, because I think that's an absolute wrong decision to make. So the fact that he didn't get along with his GM, Stephen Ross, and he got fired, maybe the rumors are true, but like I said, I still think he's a good coach.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do to replace him. So
I think the rumors are true because I think Chris Greer and I think they wanted. Obviously, they drafted Tua. Tua was their pick. They always wanted him, and I think it was evident just from seeing him getting, especially his rookie season. I don't think Brian Flores ever liked Tua, and now there's stuff coming out that Tua and Brian Flores got in fights. They didn't like each other, and that's why I thought this whole situation was curious, because obviously being around so many Dolphins fans, so many people love Tua and they love Brian Flores, and I'm just curious to see what side they would take, because obviously you're in the Tua boat. In a sense, you're kind of happy that the front office is taking his side more so than Flores is. Granted, I agree with you. I think if it comes out, if it is true, it'll never come out, but if it is true that Brian Flores wanted Deshaun Watson, I mean, why would you put your organization in that position, like, to even deal with that? Like, I don't understand why anybody would ever trade for Deshaun Watson. I think you have to be really fucking desperate because everything that's coming out doesn't look like he's going to be around very long. So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I was gonna say, to Deshaun Watson before all that shit came out, I would have been like, okay, he's a good quarterback, whatever. But then after all this shit comes out, there's absolutely not the decision you need to make on Deshaun Watson. So it's not to disparage like his football play. It's just, do you want that around your team? Do you want to deal with that every day? Do I have to? Because if they did that, I would absolutely stop watching the Dolphins. Like I would be a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Because I was like, so are you glad though that it seems that they're committing to Tua? Like, are you sold that Tua is the right answer? Like,
yeah, I mean, you have to. They have to, because guess what? You had a higher pick. Y'all traded down. Y'all were at number 6, and they traded down to 12. They traded away to San Francisco. If they wanted somebody else, they could have easily got another quarterback. They could have easily got somebody. They could have easily got
that year
if they wanted. So if they had their sights on Tua this whole time, you got to stick with your decision. That's the decision you made. Now give him all the support and all the help he needs. You know what I mean? This O-line is terrible. This is one of the worst O-lines the fucking Dolphins ever had. Absolute horseshit, porous. It's like a fucking a sponge. Just anything can go through that shit. So, speaking to the problems that the Dolphins have, that's what they need to concentrate on, is giving him support. I think getting rid of Flores. I don't know who they're going to replace now. They're talking about
I think they're going to get an offensive guy.
The Cardinals. They're talking about the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, Mike. I forget the guy's name. Mike. He's pretty funny, young guy. So I don't know who they're going to get to replace Flores, but I mean,
I wouldn't be. I think getting the dude from the 49ers isn't a bad pickup. Seeing the system that Garoppolo is thriving in, because as you know, I don't really think much of Tua. I don't think he'll ever be a gunslinger. He's never going to fly. And I think that West Coast system and that Shanahan system that they run in San Francisco could fit him very well. Obviously, Dolphins still need a lot of pieces around him. You have a good guy in Waddle, but you pretty much have nobody else outside of him.
Yeah. Gesicki. It's good.
Gesicki, yeah. But everybody else on that team's in the playmaking positions.
No running back, no O-line.
Yeah, they're all fucking bums. But that's I think it's if you're a guy, you're happy. If I was a Dolphins fan, I think I would rather side with Flores than Tua, because I think Flores is a better coach than Tua is a quarterback. But I mean, only time will tell. We'll see if maybe they get the right guy in here that can develop him and help him.
Oh man, they want short-term success, or they're looking in the long term? Because again, you start off 1-7. The big part of that was Tua being injured again, so he missed a couple games. You lost games you shouldn't have, and for you to go on a 7-game win streak to potentially put your team back in the playoffs, that starts with the coach, man, and their belief in the system and his play calling and everything else that goes around it. To win 7 games in a row, and you're already in the rut, 1-7, you have nothing to play for at that point. The team, gives up hope, So I just think it's insane. Like, he still put them in a position to potentially make the playoffs and move on. And granted, obviously they didn't, but still, I mean, you pretty much had the same season as last season. They were 1 win away last season from the playoffs, 1 or 2 wins away the season the playoffs, and your quarterback was injured. So those early games you lost because he was out could have really made a difference.
And to be fair, Tua played pretty well towards the end of the season. He played pretty well. And he's a guy, I think you need a lot of talent around him for him to play well. So, yeah, if that's the direction they're going to go, then they need to really bolster. I don't know what their salary cap and everything's looking like. Obviously, you have a lot of draft capital, but they need playmakers. They need people on offense for sure, like big time. But
yeah, speaking of South Florida, because I want to transition us to the hottest team in South Florida. No. I know what you're thinking. You guys are thinking, oh, you're talking about the Florida Panthers. No, I'm not talking about the Florida Panthers. Even though they're the hottest team.
Nobody thought that.
Look at their point differential. Look at their point differential. Look at their point differential there. I think they're plus 48.
You're not wrong, but I don't think anybody was saying that.
No, we're not talking about that. Obviously, we're not talking about Dolphins. We just got to talk about Dolphins. Let's talk about the Miami Heat. I want to say good morning to all the fans of the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. Good morning to you and you alone. And if you're a fan of another team, I feel bad for you because how do you wake up in the morning and just live life knowing that you're not number one? They had a big game over the week. We had some. There's this guy. He's probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame. This guy, what's his name? What's his name? I forgot. There's Leroy. What's it?
Struggling.
What's his name? I can't think of it. Here's some guy came here, used to play. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, our resident Lakers fan, on thoughts on the game and thoughts of what the Lakers implosion that we're watching, that we're seeing before our eyes. What you think about the Lakers? What's going on in LA?
They're having a terrible season, right? But there's always two sides of every NBA season: pre-All-Star break and post-All-Star break. And lead GM, he's gonna make his moves, I feel, by the All-Star break. They're gonna try to figure it out. And of course, man, year 19, every year counts. He wants to be in the finals every single year. A lot of trouble with this team. I don't know, the chemistry is still lacking. But LeBron, forget the team. I don't care about the team. Shout out my boy LeBron, who's been absolutely balling. He's 37 years old, almost averaging 30 points a game, 7 rebounds, almost, I think, 5, 6, 7 assists. Like, this guy is playing crazy at his age. And you can't tell me you ever seen a player that age in the NBA still peaking. Tell me. Crazy.
He's still good. But the construction of that team is absolutely terrible.
Vince Carter.
This guy was talking about
Vince.
LeBron.
Even in the league in his later years, when he was with the Hawks, like, hey, this guy's still playing? You forgot about him. What do you think?
But, LeBron James came out with this a couple weeks ago. In the beginning of the year, he was like, "Oh, y'all telling us when they were actually playing pretty well. They're saying, oh, we're the oldest team in the league. I want y'all to keep the same energy when we're in the championship." So some shit like that. And then he comes out last week and he's like, "I'm sorry." He has to apologize for the performance of how they're performing on the floor. Then I apologize.
And I respect that. Because someone has to speak up about it. You can't. The media in LA is just like the media in New York. Like, you can't just sweep that under the rug. Like, and he's taking ownership, right? I don't see anybody else stepping up on the team. The coaches, and people are worried about their jobs there in LA. I mean, at least he's speaking up and letting the people know what's up, because who else is there to do it? You know what I mean? And hopefully, they turn it around, but obviously things aren't looking good there, and people are worried about their jobs in LA right now.
And a lot of blames want to be placed on the coach. A lot of people want to blame Westbrook. I mean, LeBron, it's your team, man. It's your team. These are the people you wanted to sign. You signed all these people. You signed everybody that you wanted. You got.
He's not the
You're
one
the kingpin in LA.
He's still balling. If his team doesn't, if they're not playing well, there's only so much he can do, obviously. And he's doing what he has to do. Now, if LeBron wasn't playing like this and the Lakers are losing, you know who everyone is going to blame. That's why no one's really blaming LeBron. They're just enjoying year 19 LeBron playing the way he's playing, and they're shitting on the Lakers. No one's shitting on LeBron right now.
You know what they need to start doing? You know what they need to start doing? They need to start feeding Carmelo. Let him eat. Let him eat. Let Carmelo eat.
He takes his shots. He does his rounds in the games, man. But
bro.
Carmelo, turn back the clock when you're on the Knicks, chucking up 30 shots a game. But man,
I mean,
let's see if they can hold it, right? That separates good from great, right? You don't want to be, mellowing between 4th and 15th throughout the season, man. Hey, if you're in the top spot, now it's time to stay there. That's the hard part, right? So,
the East has definitely gotten better, and I never thought of the Miami Heat as the best team in the East, but they're definitely playing well. They're playing lights on fire. There's just names: Struss, You got Caleb Martin. These guys that names you never heard of.
Isn't Bam hurt? Bam's out, right?
No, he was back. Well, is he hurt again? I don't know. I can't remember. He was playing last. I know they had the highlights.
I know he just recently hurt. I wasn't sure if he was back
LeBron.
yet.
I don't know if you saw that highlight. But they're playing well. And like they're playing team basketball. And they've had injuries and guys out with COVID and whatever, and they still find a way, to be productive and to play well. Now they have a tough stretch because I think they have a huge road schedule coming up. So that's going to be a tough stretch, but they've earned their position so far this point in the year. And like I always say, I like seeing teams in the second half after the All-Star break, where teams are and how their schedule looks like going forward from the half. I just want to bring up
the city right now, number 1 in the East. They're killing it in hockey. They just hopefully the Dolphins, can turn it around. You got Julian in the Miami soccer team right now.
Yeah, the Fort Lauderdale soccer team.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Fort Lauderdale.
Yo, I mean, like small little side note though, they've completely revamped this team. They got rid of they cleaned fucking house, and now they're bringing in some big name guys. Right? Not big name guys, but they're putting in some work.
Call me when it's messy. Right, when it's messy,
that's probably the last thing they need. I don't know if you saw it. Apparently, there's like reports coming all around that they're trying to go after Luis Suarez, but that's probably the last thing they need right now.
MLS is a retirement.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
David Beckham, do something. Okay, if you do something, get an exciting player, then call.
That's why they shouldn't bring people in, man. That's why they shouldn't bring these old motherfuckers. They come in, they don't do shit, and then they're ass. Like.
All right. Do you want to get into the last section? Do you have the sports book up, Julian?
Yeah, we'll get into our final 2 games. We didn't get to pick the other playoff games, but we got these ones right here.
Baby.
Are you gonna pull up the screen, or are you just gonna do it?
Yeah, I'm pulling up. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, not game. All right, so the first game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals are +7. +7. So they have the Chiefs winning by a touchdown. Gabe, you taking that over or under?
Oh, wait. Oh, you mean the spread or the total?
Spread.
Man.
And it's dead even right now for the odds.
Listen, Kansas City, if there's one thing we know from this season, is they do not cover.
They do not cover.
They do not cover.
They never do. Never. The past 2 seasons.
So 7 for it to be on 0.7, it's really tough. You got to figure they're going to win by 6. Let's say they got outright lose or just win by 6. Oh man, Kansas City Chief. Am I going to doubt Patrick Mahomes? This is like the old Brady question. Will you doubt Tom Brady in a playoff game? Will I doubt Patrick Mahomes? You know what? I'm going to take the Chiefs to win. I'll take the over because I think
wow.
You see how fast that team still is. Tyreek Hill, still super fast, still uncatchable. This guy's giving the peace signs, breaking people ahead of him, giving the peace sign, and then cutting around them. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'll take the over. They'll win by like 10 points at least.
Wow. I'm taking the under. Not the under. I'm taking the Bengals +7. I think that game's going to be super close, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals win it. I feel good about the Bengals. I think we're overhyping the Chiefs a little too hard. I get it's at Arrowhead, which is a tough place to play, but the Chiefs defense isn't that great. They're definitely not going against the Titans defense. So you're going to see a shootout, just like we saw with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. We're about to see it again, but with Joey Burrow in his second season, just absolutely dude. The thing is, you watch his interviews, man. That guy looks like he's been there and done it before. Like that guy has so much like just swagger and just like confidence that it's just like you trust him, even though he's a second year guy, his first time in the playoffs. He's just so cool and calm, and he's just like he's gonna go in there. He's gonna fucking sling it, and I think maybe the Chiefs win it. If I was to do the money line, I'll take the Chiefs, but I think I'll take the Bengals on the +7. I think it's going to be close. It's going to end by a field goal. How about that?
How about that? What do you got, JoJo? You believe in Patrick?
this is a tough one, right? So I'm all for the underdogs, right? But again, I don't care what struggles the Chiefs had in the regular season. It's postseason time. Now, someone who's actually been there, done that, won that is your boy Patrick Mahomes. And I do love how Joe Burrow's composing himself, acting like he's been there, second year guy, but he's not going to win in a shootout against Patrick Mahomes and that team. This is a playoff team who literally just went to the Super Bowl. They know what's at stake. They know what it takes to win. And I think that Joe Burrow is going to gain a lot of experience from this high pressure situation there. But if that O-line does not step up and he can't take another 5 sacks this game, man, you're not gonna win. But I'm gonna have to go ahead with the Chiefs in this game. And I'd love to see another. I'd love to be proven wrong. And I'm not saying they're gonna play bad, but I think unfortunately, the Cinderella story is gonna end here because Patrick Mahomes is on a mission to win another one.
Do you take the -7 spread?
7 points. Do you think they win by 7 or more?
I'll take that.
Well, more than 7.
Not more than 7. I think it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be good.
Take Bengals +7.
Yeah.
You think the Bengals get within 7?
You think the Chiefs win, but they win by less than 7? All right.
Yes.
Okay, so me and JoJo got the Bengals. Gabe's got the Chiefs, but we all got Chiefs winning. All right, we'll see who's the smart one next week when we talk about Super Bowl.
But I still think the Bengals have a good season. Like, this is still like they got more than what they bargained for. It's still a successful season, even if they lose.
Yeah.
It's great, but you can't go in the game getting sacked more than 5 times and expect to win against the Chiefs, bro.
Yeah. Granted, I don't think the Chiefs are going to put up that many sacks, but yeah, they shouldn't allow that. But we got the next game on the NFC side. This is going to be a tight one. This is going to be a rematch from the final week of the season. This is going to be their third meetup this year. The Niners beat them to get into the playoffs. Can they do it now to get into the Super Bowl? The Niners are +3. The Rams are -3. Who are you guys taking?
Wow. Exciting game. I think it's going to be probably the game, the better game of the two that we got going on. Man, I want to say LA defense is going to play really well, but I've seen them be porous out deep. I've seen Jalen Ramsey get beat. Although they do have a good front line in Aaron Donald and them boys. I'm going to stick with the Rams, man. Fuck that. I'm sticking with the Rams. The Rams, Stafford is going to get it together. Cooper Kupp, Higbee, and them boys. They're going to do it, man. They're going to put up more than 3 points? I think they're going to do it, man.
Really?
Give me LA Rams.
I think the Niners are going in there and they're going to fucking win that game. I think they're going to be +3. The line, people are hammering the Niners with the +3. I'm taking them and the money line. Money line's +44. That's good money right there. Give me the Niners. I think the Niners, they show up. They've already beaten them. And also, I don't know when you guys, I don't know if you saw the game, the final week game of the year when they went up against each other. That was a Niners home game. And it's been like that all year for Los Angeles home games because obviously Los Angeles, it's a new team. They're not generally a big sports town anyways, but when big teams play there, like I remember watching the Steelers play there, that was packed out with Steeler fans. When the Niners played, that was literally a Niners home game. And you hear the chanting and everything, like that was legit a Niners home game. And I think it's going to be a Niners home game again. And give me the Niners.
Wow. He said, give me Jimmy G.
Wow.
And if they play,
wow, I can't believe you picked Jimmy G over Stafford.
I like that defense. and if I had to pick a run game, Cam Akers, I know he just came back from injury, but man, 2 fumbles and he didn't really produce. That's a little scary. And you got a defense that's super strong like the Niners. I mean, you already saw what the Bucs did to them. We'll see. And you got
Honestly,
it depends too how Debo feels, because Debo looked like he got hurt at the end of that game.
Yeah, I think he had
against
the second play,
the Packers. So I'm curious to see how he's going to end up playing. But give me the Niners, man. They've been there, done that.
Jojo, what you got?
Rematch.
It's a question of who do I want to win and who I think is going to win. Because I feel like whenever you have a team with all these big names, they make it this close, but they can never get there. And that's the LA Rams.
That's Los Angeles in general.
And you have a solid team. Yeah, you have a solid San Francisco team, right? Solid all around. No showboat players, no all-stars, no this and that. Just a solid team. They go in there, they get dirty, they get the job done. Ooh, this is tough. But I'm going to put my faith into the Rams, man. I want to see them move forward with the team they have. Excellent defense if they could show out. They have like 2 or 3 of the best receivers in the league. And if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, honestly, it's just an embarrassment at this point with that squad they have. So I'm going to go ahead.
That's part of the reason why I want to see them lose.
I want to play again. Yeah, I want to see them go, man. I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. It'll be a completely different team than when the Rams versus Brady back a couple years in the Super Bowl. And this is Sean McVay's second shot at it. You see the Rams.
That's my thing. That to me is a big difference maker. Is I think Kyle Shanahan's the better coach. I think he's a better coach. He's a better play caller. I like his decision making, and that's gonna be a Niners home game, bro. I'm telling you, you're gonna watch that game, and that's just gonna be a sea of fucking red. That's their home game. The only person I'm rooting for in the Rams is Matt Stafford. I want to see Matt Stafford succeed because he's a great quarterback, and he's been hiding away in Detroit for so long. I would like to see him win, but the Niners, man, they're gritty. They're tough, bro. I don't know.
They are. I think it's going to be a scary game, man. They're solid all around.
This is for this week. Episode 38 in the books. We'll be back next week. More NFL action. We even talked about UFC. We'll be talking more about my number 1 Miami Heat team. We'll be talking about my number 1 Miami Florida Panthers team. But we'll be back next week. We appreciate y'all checking us out. Real Fans Podcast. Jojo, where can they find us?
Walmart, Target, Walgreens. Most important, Spotify. Get on that Spotify. Get on our Instagram, Real Fans Podcast. Show some love. Spread the word. Post on our story. Comment.
Yeah. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. And anywhere else you get podcasts, really, we're on everything.
Let's get it.
We'll be back next week. Appreciate y'all. Let's get it.